Jonathan Taylor demanded a trade after Jim Irsay, one of Jim Irsay's many unhinged tweets. The team is claiming he got hurt. He says he's fine. The producers want to ask if the Chiefs should trade for Taylor. And a reminder, by the way, you guys can ask me whatever you want. We'll do that in the next segment. All right, no, the Chiefs shouldn't trade for Taylor. I will give you some teams that should consider it. But first, this non-football injury list threat by the Colts is a dangerous game for any team to play. So, again, Jonathan Taylor is saying his back is not injured. The Colts reportedly are threatening to put him on the non-football injury list, which would mean he does not get paid while he's on it. With the belief being he suffered a back injury while working out / training in the offseason, but not at the Colts facility. Okay. I understand the non-football injury list being used for, and I feel terribly for the guy, but Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines, the Bills' running back kick returner, was on a jet ski, got crashed into, and suffered a significant injury. That is the definition of a non-football injury. Now, he makes so little money, maybe the Bills will end up paying him, but that's what the thing exists for. If a guy's out there rollerblading, I don't know if people are rollerblading these days, or playing basketball, or, and gets injured, teams don't have to pay you. But the idea that you could be risking your entire salary by training for professional football in the offseason if you get injured. The reason I'm saying this is a dangerous game is teams obviously expect, demand, and want players to train in their own time. And if you were to withhold Jonathan Taylor's salary, if I'm the Players Association, I am sending out a league-wide memorandum. Guys, don't train in the offseason. Do OTAs, do minicamp, do training camp. But if you are risking the entirety of your salary and your contract, if you get hurt training for your team, if you're not with your team, that to me opens a very risky door. So there's that part of it. Next part of it, I know there is a belief amongst a lot of people that Jonathan Taylor, no one's going to want to trade for him because you're going to have to give up a draft pick and sign him to a new contract. I don't believe that's accurate. I think if you trade for Jonathan Taylor, you don't have to sign him to a new contract. It might not be, listen, might not be what Jonathan Taylor wants to hear, but Jonathan Taylor might have enough leverage within Indy to force them to give him a new contract. It doesn't look like he does. He might have enough leverage to force them to trade him. I'm not sure if he does. I do not think Jonathan Taylor would have enough leverage to force a trade and then when he gets to the next team, demand a new contract. I think that you could trade for him and say, listen, we got you out of that situation and we very well may give you a contract after this year. But we're not signing you to a new contract. Jonathan Taylor's not going to, what's he going to do? Not report? Sit out the year? He's not going to do it. And so I don't think just by trading for him, that means you have to give him a new deal. That's first of all. Second of all, who should trade for him? No, the Chiefs shouldn't. I think Pacheco's good. I also like Deneric Prince, this undrafted kid they have, and they don't need to spend resources at the running back position. Now, they could have drafted Jonathan Taylor. Instead, they drafted a running back in Clyde Edwards-Helaire a few years ago. That was a mistake, but it is what it is. The Bengals, obviously, because I think Joe Mixon is a deteriorating asset. Pardon me. If you really wanted to go all in, the Bengals and the Chargers would be two AFC teams that I think would consider saying, screw it, let's do it. and he would be an instant impact difference maker for them. If the Colts didn't want to trade him within the AFC, the team, and I understand this team has spent, I think, consecutive or at least 2 of the last 3 drafts, they've spent second-round picks on running backs. The last 2. But they're both injured right now. And that's Seattle. I know Kenneth Walker's really good, but he's hurt. Zach Charbonnet, their draft pick from this year in the second round, he's hurt. It would be a crazy use of resources, but they have a very good, I think it will be very good, young defense. They have Geno on a cheap deal. Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. I wonder if, and I also wonder almost if they could trade, what is Zach Charbonnet's injury? Now I'm really, kind of going full fantasy GM here. So Zach Charbonnet's injury, just shoulder discomfort. So I wonder if instead of trading draft picks, you could trade this running back you took in the second round to Indy, cost controlled for the next 4 years for them, for Jonathan Taylor. Kenneth Walker's week to week with his groin injury. I would keep an eye on that. I could see the Seahawks and John Schneider doing that. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.